The Alabama State Conference of the NAACP said the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to uphold 2 Arizona voting laws opens the door for states to pass laws to make it harder for minorities to vote. The organization said in a statement released Friday that laws like those upheld by the justices are cruel and calculated. The Democratic National Committee and other plaintiffs challenged the constitutionality of an Arizona law that says votes won't be counted if voters cast them in the wrong precinct. And they challenged an Arizona law passed in 2016 that makes it a crime for any person other than a postal worker, an election official, or a voter's household member, relative, or caregiver to knowingly collect an early ballot either before or after it has been completed. The plaintiffs said the laws adversely affected minority voters. They said the restriction on collecting ballots was passed with the intent to discriminate against minorities. A district judge rejected their claims. But the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals sided with the plaintiffs. The Supreme Court overturned that decision. Justice Samuel Alito wrote the opinion, supported by the conservative majority in a 6-3 decision. The Alabama State Conference of the NAACP believes that Arizona and other Republican legislatures that are adding more restrictions to voters are cruel and calculated, Benard Simelton, president of the Alabama NAACP, said in a press release. The Supreme Court wrongfully believes access to the polls are equal for all people, in which it is not. We call on Congress to pass voter protections through legislative measures like the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act and for the People Act to provide equal access to the polls. The John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act would restore a part of the Voting Rights Act struck down by the Supreme Court in 2013. That ruling eliminated a requirement for states with a history of racially biased voting practices to get approval from the Justice Department before changing any election laws. The For the People Act would include provisions such as requiring states to allow people to register on Election Day and allowing in-person voting on days before Election Day. In the ruling upholding the Arizona laws, the Supreme Court found that Arizona laws generally make voting easy, allowing early voting up to 27 days before an election either by mail or in person. The justices found that the 2 challenged Arizona laws do not violate the Voting Rights Act and that law restricting early ballot collection was not intended to discriminate based on race. Justices Alito, John Roberts, Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett supported the decision. Justices Stephen Breyer, Elena Kagan, and Sonia Sotomayor dissented. Related, Biden pushes for federal voting rights law as GOP-led states restrict rights.